not launching a community app that's on day one overwhelmed and possibly complicated. So I think well done with taking initiative out of learnings from our previous launches to say, let's take it step by step. Let's dumb it down and make sure we launch this successfully. And again, hashtag teamwork does make the dream work. Before we give you time, Toby, I'm going to ask the audience and the people that's joining us today to go to our social media pages. And I don't know where we're going to get the budget from, but I'm going to take money from somewhere. And we're going to give some prizes away. I would love you guys to share our today's post where we as industry are making progress. We are positioning ourselves as becoming more valuable and valued. So if you want to go online, I think the hashtags today, for those of you who are stuck with the hashtag 4-day work week, we can do that. But I think the hashtags for today are hashtag zero inbox, hashtag community app, and hashtag community asset management. And I will find someone's budget to get the gifts away after the event. So if you share this on our LinkedIn or Facebook profile, we will announce the winners later today. Thank you for that, Aliza, and well done. Toby, you have to go a bit slower and just reinforce the importance of doing this right. Again, we've been in business for almost 10 years, launching many features and products. We have made many learnings. Can you please take all our learnings of 10 years and put it into a box and how our clients can launch this successfully and without getting pushback? Thank you, Toby.
Thank you, Schalk. Can you hear me clearly? Because I see some people mentioned that the sound wasn't great.
I can hear you clearly. You can go for it, yes.
Fantastic. Good morning, everybody. Still morning. Great to be here for the over 700 people that has joined us today, and great to sit with colleagues and talk about this groundbreaking launch today. I can hear some of you sitting on the other side of the screen saying, Toby, this is long awaited for, but you do not know my trustees. How on earth are they going to use this? And how on earth are we going to roll this out? I'm glad you're asking that question, because hope is not a strategy. You need a plan and you need a message to communicate to your clients and your trustees. And the next couple of slides between me and Maritza, we are going to focus on a couple of things that you need to think about and apply. I liked what Donnie said earlier. We spoke about self-leadership, team leadership, and industry leadership. We want to be in a situation where the market admires the way we do things. And that's going to require us to be leaders in the way we act and the way we talk and the way we create experiences. And that's what we're going to do in the next couple of slides. So we're going to focus on two things: your positioning, which is a concept I'll explain now, and your strategy. What's the steps that you're going to have to apply to get maximum impact of launching that? So Maritza is joining me, and we're going to have a little bit of a chat about this. And Maritza asked me to join and speak about this concept of positioning. So Maritza, thanks for joining, man.
Thanks, Toby.
Good. So I want to start by referring to this concept of positioning. Positioning is a marketing term, and that's something that I have a big passion for. So what is positioning, and why is it important? So firstly, just in layman's terms, positioning is what your trustees understand about you, what they think about you, and what they feel about you as a company, maybe the services that you offer, and in this specific case, the app that you are bringing to the table for them. And think about it as a story that the trustees will tell themselves or tell other people when they talk about the app. So just imagine you are standing, or your trustees are standing around a braaivleisvuur, which they do very often, and they're either going to sing praises or they're going to be complaining about something. But what story are they saying? What story are they telling in terms of you and this amazing community app that we are launching? Now, I'm in the fortunate position to sit with trustees on a daily basis, or being in the sales team, we get a lot of phone calls from trustees that want to speak to us and speak to managing agents using WeconnectU. And we always make a point to ask them, so what do you want from your managing agent? And they will always say a couple of things, but it can always boil down to three things. Firstly, we want transparency. We want to know what's going on. Secondly, we want to collaborate better. And thirdly, we want quicker turnaround. Now, that is things that you as managing agent have complete control over. If your behavior and the language that you use and the experiences that you create and the moments of experiences, Maritza always speaks about moments of truth or moments of magic, that can be created. And that is the positioning. That's your positioning. And what is really critical about the app is what feeling and experience will you be creating when you roll out the app. Now, there's a correct positioning and there's an incorrect positioning. So I want to quickly start with the incorrect one. Firstly, the incorrect positioning is 100% if you say, this is a managing agent tool that we are going to use to manage trustees and what they do, because that is going to create resistance, because it doesn't feel like we're doing it together. It feels like we asking you to do something in our way. That is not going to be the win. The correct positioning is creating this feeling and experience that we are giving you a solution to help you and empower you as a trustee, because trustees have risks, they've got certain needs, as I said earlier, convenience, collaboration, etc. If we position it like that as a solution to help you, that will create the adoption. And we've already, just after Engage, we soft launched the app to people that we're interested in. And we've already had feedback from clients that have done that, that has given us amazing feedback to say, the way we position it as a solution to help trustees, it's the nail 100%, because it feels the trustees are getting something to actually help them. So what's the win? The success of the community app is, we believe, it's not the product and the features that Maritza and Alisa just explained. It is actually 90% the way you position the app and the way you behave in terms of your moments of truth with clients, and also the language that you use. So your behavior, but also their behavior. And Maritza and Alisa spoke a little bit about workflows earlier. And that is one of those areas that you are going to be guiding your client to say, I'm going to help you. So what excites me, Maritza, about this whole launch of the community app is the opportunity to reset the way your client looks at you, because you can roll out workflows in your way, the way you want to do it, but also reset your interaction with the trustee. And we are going to talk a little bit about how to do that. Don't know if you've got any comments or questions on this first topic of positioning.
I really like that, Toby, to say it's almost like you've got the opportunity to restate the rules of engagement. You know, this is how we are going to work together. That was the one thought I had. And the other one is something that just came to me now was there is something about how do I internally position it and how do I externally position it? And it's important to know that that is two different things. It is okay to say, why are we doing this? Why are we, as a certain company, managing agent XYZ, why are we doing this? That positioning will be, what is it solving for you? It's getting me my trustees to be more responsive and to fast track decisions and to lessen follow-ups. But if that is the reason we're going to say, why are we doing it for our trustee? They're going to just, it's not going to make them feel like it solves anything for them. And that's the difference between, you know, these, what is it solving for you? But now how do you tell the story, like you mentioned, to get the behavior change that we need? And that is what the story must do. It must just get that behavior change. So really, let's move over to, you mentioned a feeling. You know, I know next up you're going to talk about that feeling that it's creating. And that is what the story is about. How does it make you feel? So help us with some thoughts on how do we position the app to create the right feeling?
So there's this concept of the carrot and the stick. If we are going to come with a stick approach, there will be resistance. But if we come with a carrot approach where there's really benefits for you, and positioning is a verb, you control 100% how they look at you and what they feel when they deal with you. And so correct positioning creates a feeling. And that feeling happens when we interact with our clients. So essentially, how do we want to make them feel? Firstly, we want our clients, the trustees, to say, this really helps me fulfill my role, and this really empowers me to be a better trustee. Remember, there's massive risks on their shoulders, and there's a lot of responsibility with them. And very often they abdicate that responsibility incorrectly to us, and we take all the pressure and stress. And I think the app is going to give us an opportunity to share that load. But you want to make them feel, this is a tool to help me, and this really empowers me. Now, as part of this feeling that you're creating, you want to create the tangible benefits and the real benefits that they're going to feel. Firstly, we've designed the app for their reality. And what is their reality? Well, this is not their day job. They're busy. They don't have time to look at emails all the time. So we want to create something that's convenient, easily accessible. And this concept of something in the palm of your hand, which is something they use for everything else in their world, is really, really how we create it. And that's what's so exciting about this tool. It's in their hands. Then this giving clarity and transparency. There's no trustee today that wants less transparency. They want more transparency. And we're giving them something that they can access easier than ever before to see exactly what's going on, normally with the things that are creating the most stress and pressure, which is payment of suppliers, tasks that need to be completed, because they're getting the brunt of those questions when they walk around in the communities from the owners, and they're going to have transparency into that. Then they are going to be able to act and decide with confidence because they've got access to information when they need it, and for the reasons they need it. And then lastly, complex tasks simplified. We try to create from the beginning a solution that's really simple. And we always get that feedback, the solution is simple. But we're taking that to another level by putting those tasks that might seem complex, and the workflow seems complex, but it's actually not, because it's conveniently accessible. So really, really important is, when do you create this feeling? So you'll see the heading of this slide is positioning for adoption. We want to create maximum impact for adoption. And the best place and time to do that is to do it in person. And we believe the greatest place to get the ball on the roll in terms of adoption with trustees is at trustee meetings, because they have to take place. They probably happen in person. And that's the time where you can really interact and do a lot of heavy lifting. And we're going to show you how that is done. So at the end of the day, the win here is we want to help trustees. Sorry, just want to go back one. I clicked twice there. Sorry, guys. There we go. We want to help trustees to carry out responsibilities with clarity, clear visibility into everything, and then with confidence. And I'll tell you, if a trustee feels there's clarity and there's confidence to make decisions, that will put them in a good headspace. And that is where you want to be. Okay. Next, I just want to talk a little bit about what language do we want to use? Because, as I said earlier, positioning is about how you come across and your behavior and the language. And this language is critical. And we don't want to make it sound like a heavy load or over and above all the responsibilities you have a trustee today. So we want to use language like, we are going to give you more control with less effort. So the app is going to be the easiest way for you to take control of the decisions that you have to make, like tasks, like supply invoice approvals, etc. We are going to give you more clarity. You're going to have a clearer way to see what's happening in your community with tasks and with payments. And you also saw on the dashboard that Aliza showed earlier, it takes it a step further to things like transfers and documents, etc. There is going to be more visibility. So that's a word or language that you want to use a lot, because visibility is going to reduce stress and take away some of the pressure, because less visibility increases stress and pressure. And we know that a trustee minute is not a managing agent minute. For them, when they send out an email waiting for feedback, that minute feels like days when they don't get feedback. So we want to change the narrative. There's more visibility. Then we want to speak about more confident decisions, because there's a much simpler way now to approve payments, as an example, or to log tasks, or to view tasks, or to track tasks, etc. And then a great win is this thing of, you will only react when it's needed, because now we've got a push notification, so there'll be less emails to check and to deal with, because the notification will come into the palm of your hand, and now you're able to react when it's needed and not hurry up and wait kind of scenario. So the win for the trustee is that you don't need to check up anymore. You simply will be notified when you need something from you, and this is when your input is required. And it is just a better workflow and collaboration between the trustee and the managing agent or the PM that's actually driving the workflow. Any comments or questions from you, Maritza?
Tibby, I don't think so. I think the thing that can summarize for me, how do you know what language to use, whether it's positive or negative? We're going to the language to avoid, is truly focus on who you are talking to. And that's why we started there. What is the need of the trustee? Who are the trustee in the sense of they have a job, the better we understand that, the better we can just speak to them as a human, because the basic of a feeling is connection. And connection is made with a human. So I always find these things like, oh dear, positioning and strategy, and it might sound difficult, but it's actually quite simple. Who is the person we're talking to? Not the version we've created in our mind, and not what it solves for us, but just for them. That's maybe just the only thought on both these slides are from what language do we use?
Cool. Okay, then from a positioning, I just want to quickly talk about some pitfalls and language that we want to avoid, because we don't want to make this sound like a stick, and we don't want to make this sound like additional burden that most trustees will, that's not what they want. They want to win. So firstly, I think one of the important pitfalls that I want us to avoid is to see the app as a USP. I don't see it that you just go and splurge on your website now. Yes, we have an app, and that is something that's a USP for us. What is USP? It's unique selling proposition. The app is just as good as how you use it from your side, from a managing agent point of view, but also how good your trustees use it. So the app cannot be the golden bullet that will miraculously change everything in relation to your workflows between you and your trustees. It's about how you use it and how they use it. And that's going to happen as your confidence grows and their confidence grows in the app. Then we want to stay away from this extra work and effort. We don't want to create this perception that this is over and above. It must be, man, this is in your hand. It's as easy as looking at the notification that is sent through to you. It's not a new system to learn. It's not a new process we're implementing. And a very, very big pitfall and language that we need to avoid is it's another optional alternative or nice to have that we're rolling out. That cannot be that. And I know that you'll probably have something to say about that, Maritza, because that is the thing that's the win here. The community app must be part of your daily workflows.
Yeah, I think that's where you kind of have the option to change the rules of engagement. This is how we work going forward. But then you need that consistency. And I know I'm going to chat about that in the practical rollout steps later as well, how important that is.
Bottom line of your story is summarized in this sentence. It's community management in the palm of your hand. As simple and easy as that. Okay. So Donnie spoke earlier about this community app, WhatsApp, and we also had very good discussions about this at Engage when we had our business owner sessions. I just want to quickly position the two because it's really important for you, because today our default is to do everything in WhatsApp. So what we want to do, how we want to position the community app is create the app or use the app for your formal workflows. And we really recommend that it should also be formalized in your service level agreement. It's a great opportunity to go and relook your service level agreement to include that the app is used for A, B, C, D, E in terms of the way we do things like tasks, supply invoices, and so on. It should be the primary tool to log formal requests, like tasks as an example. If you log a task, this is how you do it, and this is where you do it. Because this workflow is now formalized, it can be structured, trackable, it's manageable and visible. And then lastly, you can track it from start to finish. It's a great way for trustees now literally to log into the app and track exactly what's going on. That reduces incoming phone calls, emails requesting feedback on this and that, and that's the great way. So the community app is the formal part of things. Where does WhatsApp fit in? Because we don't see WhatsApp just disappearing. It's the chat platform. It's the connection between residents in a community, and that's where informal arrangements, notifications, and updates are made. But it cannot and it should never be the place where we manage formal workflows. So use the app for formal workflows, position the app as informal communication and notifications and updates between various role players.
Easily put, Toby, you should not get an instruction on a community group just because it's not manageable. It's part of, it's in the middle of a voice note, or it's in a chat where there's 100 people on. Instructions to your managing agent should be from the trustees, should be from the app. And the chatting in the community group is then something that you can choose whether you want to be there or not, because you cannot get work there. You can't be asked to do something there. You can be asked for opinion, and you can be asked for something like that. And if you don't respond, that's also okay. But so we can really rethink what is our role on the community group and what is our role on really reacting on the instructions from the app.
Cool. I want to just start landing and hand over to you in terms of rollout. From a strategy point of view, there's 3 steps that we recommend. How do you roll this out? How do you take this to your trustees? Firstly, you want to know what success looks like before you even roll it out. So there's this concept in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Start with the end in mind. What will success look like? So we recommend, and what's really nice about the workflows that Maritza and Aliza have spoken about is it's measurable. So you want to say to yourself, I want a percentage of my schemes using the app for approval payments. That will be a success measurement for me. Or I want to see a reduction in emails based for supplier approvals. Or I want to see a reduction in follow-up calls and emails regarding tasks. Or lastly, an increase in decision-making speed. We've seen that the speed at which supply invoices are approved has gone from 2 days to 1 day or even hours. You want to define that kind of success before you even roll it out. So that's something that you as business owners and teams must decide. What's the win for us? The second part of your strategy is you want to create a controlled environment. What does that mean? Well, the principle is that you want 100% control of the way you roll it out before you roll it out to all your trustees. So almost like a bit of a sample of a proefloopie before you roll it out to everybody. Because you want control over how people respond, what you say, and how that works. So what is control not? A lot of us will unfortunately default to just let's send out a bulk email to everybody via communications module and tell them, ta-da, we've got an app, it's going to be great, please use it, let's hope for the best. We cannot go that route. It cannot be a passive thing. It has to be an active thing. So as I said earlier, hope is not a strategy for adoption. We need an action plan. So what does control look like? Well, we believe, firstly, you must control when you roll it out. You want to decide who you roll it out first, and then lastly, how to roll it out. And I mentioned it earlier, you want to pick an in-person moment of truth like a trustee meeting, which we believe and heard feedback from clients is the perfect place to roll this out as a controlled environment to see what people, how they respond and how you navigate this. What is the win of a controlled environment? It's to build confidence in your team that we can roll this out and what success looks like, but also build confidence in your trustees, what success looks like for them. And once you've seen what's the sweet spot, then you can scale and roll it out to your whole portfolio. And then thirdly, you want to launch or roll out by choosing this controlled environment. Who's this first group of communities that you launch to? So we recommend, we've got a couple of pointers that we want to recommend. Firstly, a small sample of your portfolio, let's say 5 to 10% of your portfolio. Typically a portfolio with a strong community manager or a PM, somebody that can articulate these, the positioning that we've spoken about earlier. You want ideally trustees that love you and that are reasonable and open to change, and they're hungry for this kind of convenience. Then clients who's got a good positive sentiment towards you, you want to pick them first. And I'm sure you will know exactly who they are because you know your clients. And then lastly, target upcoming trustee meetings, like meetings that are already scheduled. Then what does the wins look like here? Firstly, change is not great for everybody. They are scared of change. So in an in-person setting, you can bring the energy, the excitement, and the wins that you want to put into place. And that's the best place to do it, is in a meeting. Then, in that meeting, you've got full control over how they adopt it. So right there and then in the meeting, you can say, you can download the app and let's do it together. Let's go through the how-tos, how to do tasks, how to do supply approvals. And you can do it right then and there and move any barriers out of the way. Then you can demo the workflows, load a workflow on the portal, and it pushes through to the app and show the wins to them. The key principle, keep it simple, stupid. Do it in that meeting. You can do Q&As on the spot, and then you can find out what works to build confidence in you, your team, and then roll it out to create momentum to everybody. So the rollout strategy is going to be broken down into 3 phases. I'm not sure we'll touch on it now. There's a couple of things that you need to have in place first. And that the first thing is internal readiness. Remember, the app reflects the workflows that you already have in place internally in your business. So the goal is to really go and set up your internal workflows, because you don't want to be exposed that you do not use the supplier module for approvals, or that you do not do tasks, or you're not using tasks as it should. So the goal is to set up your internal workflows so that it reflects accurately in the community app. Then your pilot rollout and activation. The goal is to create proof and confidence that we can roll this out to everybody. Iron out any gray areas that might be questions that your clients might have. And then lastly, to roll this out at scale and create momentum, set yourself up for success. And the goal here is to get momentum rapidly, because you've already piloted it in a small way, but roll it out with credibility, and you can refer back to wins that you've already had. So that's the 3-step process. And Moritz, I'm going to hand over to you in terms of just taking us through these 3 steps.
Thanks, Toby. So I think just to wrap, the strategy is so important because it tells us how will we approach this as a team, because Scott mentioned it, someone needs to put everyone together to say, okay, as a team, how are we in this company going to roll it out? Now, the workbook that we'll share with you afterwards will enable the team to ask the right questions. What do you want to get right? What will your positioning be? And it will be a practical workbook that you can fill in as business owner, manager, team lead, or portfolio manager to decide, how am I going to do this? So that is going to be sent afterwards to help you with this first part. Internal readiness is where it can all fall flat, really. If you get the trustees, imagine you nail positioning and strategy and you evoke that feeling, and the trustee now don't WhatsApp you and they create the task. And then there's radio silence, because we haven't changed our internal ways of working, of being quick to respond to a task. Then we've done all the hard work of getting the behavior change we need from the trustee, but we didn't do the internal readiness check. So that is what the internal readiness, it is not just about the workflow, it's making sure that while putting the effort in to get the trustee to do behavior change, are we ready to catch? Are we ready to do our part to reach that level of consistency? So there's a couple of things that we also need to consider here. Something like review your document names, the file names, because you're opening your windows of your company. They will now have it in the palm of their hands. They will see it. And the file name that we've used, that's what they'll see. If it's messy, then it looks messy. But if it's neat, we can change that. Something that we can do to prep. Review your approval process. Who's the trustees that need to be approving? Are they reactive? How are they using it today? That kind of thing is something you can do. Look at your payment workflow from the rock solid principle. Is everything there? Just review that payment workflow. And if you want the content from the Level Up workshop, we can share that with you. So you are welcome to just contact us on our support line, and we can send you the workbook and so forth, and even the recording of where we discussed how do you get to that rock solid workflow. So that is phase 1, internal readiness. We are going to do a deep dive on internal readiness tomorrow in our Level Up Workshop 2, which is tomorrow. And we'll share the QR code again so that if you haven't registered, please join us. where we'll go through practically. Okay, but how do you change document names? How do you check the trustee permissions? How do you check who's set up for payments so that all the things you can do to just get ready. And then again, we'll also go through a workflow from a task perspective. How do you build them on the solution and what should you consider? So that's the first phase. The second phase is the actual pilot rollout. Now, pilot rollout is the buildings you've selected in your strategy, the 5 to 10% or 2 or whatever that number is for you. You want to create confidence by the people rolling it out. And that is, it should be manageable. That's why it's controlled. So you choose your best communities, best trustees, where your chances of success is really high. You choose them and then we start. We said that the best chance of success is at a meeting because you can work with them. So the first step is launch it at a meeting, the handheld activation, and then what to do 30 days after the meeting. So if we go deep dive into the launch at the meeting, it's as easy as, guys, we put an item on the agenda, not more than that needed, activation of the improved payment and instruction process. So you can see the positioning of that agenda item. It's not for me, it's for us. It's going to improve the whole process. And you just put it on the agenda like that. Now, when you go to the meeting, this is handheld activation. So tech anxiety is real. People, they're scared of tech. They're scared of downloading the app. Where do I get it? How do I log in? But the minute you kind of over the first hill, you now have the app and you can just go in, then half the battle, even more of the battle is won. So the meeting enables you to do that while you have them there. It also gives you a great opportunity to just build connection and create the feeling you want, because then your chances of them doing what we want them to do afterwards is much greater. So in the workbook, we're also going to give you the exact emails that you can use, the introduction. We're going to give you brochures and books and all of those things as resources. But the main thing is you're going to introduce it. You're going to do the positioning. Why are we doing this? And then you are going to do a live demonstration, which will guide you through what do you show, how do you position it. Then download the app with them. Go to the stores, Google Store, Google Play Store, or the Apple Store to download the app with them on their phones and help them to quickly log in. If they don't have their login details, then reset their password, for example, but get them logged in and the app on their phone. And then behavior change requires consistency. So in this meeting, already prep them that to ensure this, we get the benefit from this new way of working, I will be your accountability partner. I will help you. So if you maybe try and approve a payment on WhatsApp, I will say, thank you. Please improve it in the app so that we can have the audit trail. And I'll gently nudge you towards it. So prep them here so that they don't take offense when you do it tomorrow or in the days to come. Then the first 30-day principle is, like, this is such a critical. If you've invested a lot of time, one-on-one time, not scale, you've spent time with them, you've downloaded. Now, if you don't get that first thing the next morning, if you don't have a payment to approve, then make a payment in the sense of a dummy one. Mark it as dummy one, but you need them to do something the next morning and prep them for that in the meeting. So the next morning, there will be an email that goes out and say, okay, guys, here's resources. Remember, this is what we said, and the example payment will be coming your way as per the process at 10 o'clock today. Create that predictability in the process. Then you have to get action in the first 7 days. But on the first day, just exercise. But there needs to be a payment or a task or something to build consistency, because every day they forget a little bit more what we said at the meeting. Keeping the line is how we keep the consistency. If there is no other way. Even if it takes a phone call to say, Tani, open the app. You need to approve this on the app. You walk her through it, but do not, if you've invested so much time, do not accept that exception. An exception is, it literally the whole deck of cards or house of cards come tumbling down. You've now built a solid workflow. You've done the time, invested, gotten them to almost get it right, got it right one time, and then you make that exception the second time. All of it's for nothing, because it will never give you that consistency that you want and the behavior change. And then track success. Are they logging in? Are they going in? Are they approving? You'll know, because it's still very small, that are they collaborating with you on the app, or are they using the other platforms still? And this is the pilot phase. If we now go over to scaled rollout and success measurement, the pilot will give you success, but it will also give you feedback. And it gives you the opportunity to tweak your approach, tweak your positioning, tweak how we do all of these things before you go with a scalable rollout. Because remember, the opportunity here is that you can reposition yourself and re-engage rules of engagement. But then you need to be very sure that this is what you want to commit to for all your communities. And that's why getting success and proof and getting confidence in a smaller group is important. The other great thing with a smaller group is, if we go back to industry leadership, the small groups of every person in this meeting today will create industry momentum. And then there will be forces that help you to get the trustees to adopt from your competitors. By everyone just using their easier trustees, we can create a movement of, okay, everyone is now just the easy ones are adopted, and then they will start ticking over, and people will start coming as a new trustee. I want to use the app, and that's what we want. Then we know we've really hit that point where it's now changed. So getting the success and feedback before the time, so that when you roll out scalably to everyone, you use the opportunity to position yourself as a trusted professional advisor. You're perceived as the expert, because this is ultimately how we use the app to take us a nudge forward on the journey towards community asset management. Thank you.